decided to take its own sweet time. How are you? Give me 1 second. One quick sec. Sorry, give me out of the way, please. Urgent. Silence. How are things going for you today?
Pretty good. How about you?
Always great for me. I don't have any complaints. No wasting of the energy of the space that I hold for things that are more important.
Good.
Indeed. So today we are here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace, love, and prosperity for anyone who comes into contact with this frequency via the vision, via the frequency of sound, via thought, via action, or anything of the sort, by anything of the sort. So we intend to share positive vibrations just to raise the vibration in any way we can by just sharing different fields of opportunity to receive, share information that is good to receive to raise the vibration. So that's just a part of what is. So as we've agreed to, this the topic today is called Shackled by Regret, Revitalized through Truth, Realize the Power of Your Past Decisions. Okay, so that's kind of like, what we spoke about is like um, learning how to truly forget, and really to learn really the process of that is a big deal. And what we spoke about as well, just all things, and just going to be kind of a freestyle. Got a couple of questions, but just freestyle, because I was looking at when I was going over the questions with my assistant, I was looking at some of them. It's a process, not in a specific order, because you just have to feel your way. So I am grateful to have you here again, Barbara Grace, to share your energy and to the space that you hold, and share from the source in which you are connected. I appreciate it again.
Well, I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so to get right to it, I want to ask a few questions. Okay, so I want to just ask this question: how important it is? What is the importance of forgetting things that have had an effect on your experience in any way, negative?
It's very important to forget because as long as you remember, then you are putting energy back into what you are remembering and you are inviting it to happen again. So that's why a lot of people experience the same thing over and over and over, whether it's the same kind of relationship or the same kind of job disappointment or whatever it is. By remembering it, you are keeping it alive, you are feeding it. It is by forgetting it that you can clear the slate and create something new.
Indeed. Okay, so that's really what makes the power. That was kind of give forgetting is really getting over your decision. The power to forgetting, the power that you receive is getting over the everything gives you power to make for present decisions, and that's forgetting, like all past decisions that don't have any existence of positive energy or something that had interference with or opposition to. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, yes. That's so often the reason, um, people are, this happened before and this was the outcome. And so I don't even want to go down that path because it'll be the same thing again. Well, yeah, it'll be once you start thinking about it, you start back the same energy that was there before. And so that energy is going to be the same. And so the experience is the same. And it's because you are reactivating it, refocusing on it. It's not that God has anything against you and wants you to go through the same thing time after time. It's because you are making.
You chose to be in that web of constant repeat. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate to that from my own experiences. What would it take for someone to recognize that the truth or the lesson that remains in the past decision they've made, and even when they're not proud of it, you know?
Well, it's not really so much that you need to analyze the truth and, figure out what you've done instead of what you did. It's not about reliving it, which is what you're doing when you're analyzing. It's about accepting that it happened and give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Say, I've learned what I need to learn and it's time for me to let it go.
Yeah,
And then do the forgiveness and to completely eliminate that from your existence so that you can
yeah,
move forward in whatever way is actually important to you.
indeed. Indeed. And that's what gives access to being, whatever you weren't proud of. You can be proud of the fact now that you have been able to forgive yourself and forget about it, knowing that you are, building up the next present experience to be something to be proud of instead of constantly rebuilding, because I'm into that, knowing that it doesn't exist if it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't bring it back. It's only a part of your experience, like you said, to think about it and to recreate the energy that was attached, because we're creating the energy as we go in real time. And we don't have to ever revisit it unless we just choose to. And once you find yourself choosing to unconsciously, I found that, that's the reason for learning a technique or having some kind of source of power to go, some type of a switch that you can go to assist you to get in a different state of mind, because it's about.
Yeah.
So how much of someone's identity today is shaped by the things that they wish they could undo, you think?
Well, anytime you are wishing that you could undo, you're not undoing. Because if you're actually undoing, there's nothing to wish for. So that wishing is really just keeping you in that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's about letting go. It's about letting go of whatever happened and whatever judgments you made about it, about you or about anybody else. It's about letting go. People always say is to let go and let God. Well, God's not change anything until you let go,
Yeah,
because God
because that.
has given you free will, and you have the free will to stay stuck in for as many lifetimes as you choose to be stuck in it. And God has no problem with you.
Yeah, source is about free will, no judgment, no. Hey, it's even on the compassion and the allowance side, allowing everyone to experience what they so choose, and I so do appreciate and agree, can agree with that and relate heavily. Do you think that, and then that wish was a trick, like not a trick, but it was a throw in there, because we know we don't wish for things, but in the sense of knowing that a big part of humanity, wish upon a star and don't realize that they created that star. Like, I'm saying in the sense of even seeing. So I'm grateful for that. And just the identification of wishing is not a part of the process. Okay. So do you think that people ever think, or yeah, do you think that people ever think about how continuously regretting a past decision is affecting them in their current space?
Usually when someone's in one of those cycles of being in the regret and looking at their life and again thinking with regret and finding themselves recreating it and then having more regret. Regret is just, it just means that you want to change what's already happened, but you can't change what's already happened. So regret is really a waste of time. It's so much more effective if you do the forgiveness work and you completely let go, forget, and just move on.
Oh, her signal went down. It should be right back extremely fast. Let me fix that. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, you're back. Oh, you can get her back. I'll get her back. Hold on, let me see. Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. You're much clearer now, even because you were kind of fuzzy there a second ago when you were speaking. It was going in and out, but you're much clearer now. So
Okay.
you can
So
continue.
it's about being free of the regret. We teach you, okay, when you realize you've done something wrong, guilty about it. Guilt is another one of those waste of time emotions stuck in something that's already happened. Whether or not you feel guilty doesn't change what happened.
Mhm. Right.
And we always act like, people should feel guilty and they should say that they're sorry. And so then everybody can, start to feel good because you're really sorry about what you did. It doesn't work that way. Whether or not you feel sorry doesn't change what happened.
Mm.
Now, if you want to look at the situation and see if you learned something, if there was a lesson for you, then go ahead and do that. Don't stay stuck in doing that. If you want to do it for a few seconds and then let go. Letting go is the best advice that anyone can give you about anything.
Okay.
Let go. Just let go. Because then you have the freedom to move forward with your life. Then you have the freedom to create something new. Then you have the freedom to forget so that you can move forward.
That's exactly why I asked that question about forgetting first, because forgetting is like truly a way to get the two together. But I wanted to ask that first because I found personally that when I let it go, I forget faster. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know and that's really why we came with, being with regret, remembering things, letting it go, you'll forget it. You know what I'm saying? You'll really forget it. And you'll be revitalized by knowing the truth. And when you realize that your past decisions don't even matter in the sense of how they negatively affect you, because it's not a past decision that really negatively affected you if you're really in touch with why or any reason why that past experience could have even taken place. Because like I've said before, my past experiences have given me a boost to get it. Something happened powerful once I did exactly what you said though. Get over it. Like forget it. Like let it resonate. If you same thing with meditation. If it's flowing through, don't try to stop it. Don't That's the part of your silencing your mind about the meditation. You silence your mind until you get a thought that's something that you need to let flow. And you let it flow so you can get back. Because that's the part of silencing your mind. You can't get your mind silenced until you get that and until it gets past. Like the river don't stop rippling until the flow get past. You throw a rock in and it do like this a whole lot of times, and after a minute it calms back down. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. It's got the flow to go through. So that's pretty much a confirmation. That's why I asked that question about forgetting first, because I'm, wanted to confirm in the sense, and you went straight to You gotta let that go. Like, okay, so yeah, we're forgetting, and forgetting is a big part of forgiveness. I feel like as an added thing, you can use as a very, very strong trigger to let it go. Look at it like it's very minute to whatever it is, and that's a process. That's a process. He's not going to really forget. And that's another step that when we were speaking, like, and this how we got to this is because in the steps of us speaking about, forgiveness and forgetting, that letting go is one of the biggest steps to even do any of it, because letting go has been a very, very big deal, as well as me learning how to forgive. Forgiving, remembering, and having to let it go. Forgiving enough and remembering enough and really having to let it go, because of really realizing if I don't let this go, I'm not going to stop remembering. So, that's a little curveball to go ahead and figure out your best way to let it go. That's like making a decision at the beginning of your, like the technique that I shared about 3 decisions ahead of time of what's going to turn out. It can come in negative, but you can stop it. Be grateful that you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is one of them chances I get to make a decision. Be grateful for that first, and then watch how the decisions even come better. Because when you get that gratitude thing going, even if there's some bull crap, because I've had to do that with my children and stuff. A lot of times I'm grateful for them giving me the contrast. Sometimes they bring me such bull. It'd be such, but I realize, no, that's really why. That's the turn up. That's the turn up. Now look, I'm very grateful to express the fact that I know now that my response to that is going to get me, more power to exist, in a more positive and powerful way, with love, in the high vibrational way, because love is on both sides. It is what it is. Love is all vibrationals. It's all vibrations. It's in all vibrational realms, in a sense. That's how I feel it to be. So let's see. So what would shift if someone's life, if they sat with the exact moment they've been avoiding or regretting and faced it without asking it to change? Like, in your opinion, in the opinion of your, energy.
Well, if you can simply look at it and accept the fact that it happened, and also accept the fact that it's over, it's done. This is the past. Then it makes it easier to let it go. So they want me to give you an example. So I was married to someone who was abusive to me. And I reached a point where someone said, happiness or joy comes from within. And for some reason, at that moment, that just triggered my knowing that my life was going to change. And so I went home and I was talking to my husband, and I said, this marriage has to end because it's just not working. It's not working for me. And he became angry and he slapped me. Now, my normal reaction would have been to back down and, make sure I was doing everything to make him happy so that he didn't have to be upset. And I didn't do that. And it wasn't a conscious choice that I made, but I remembered that happiness comes from within. And I simply looked at him and said, this is ending now. And he said, okay. Because he could see that I had changed. In that moment, I changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he would have done in the past wouldn't work anymore because I had changed who I was being. And that's an important part of it. It is you letting yourself change so that you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You don't have to keep experiencing the same thing over and over again. And in less than, I think it was maybe 3 weeks, we were divorced. And he moved out and lived someplace else. And we had been together for about 11 years. So, this wasn't a short term little thing. We had been playing our game or dancing our dance or however you want to put it for 11 years. And, I just reached that point where that was no longer what I wanted to live. And so I let it go and it changed.
That's the process of taking action upon the moment you get the intuition or the confirmation. And a lot of us are bypassing the confirmation throughout life, and it takes time. It takes a large amount of space before we get it, and that's where that regret thing comes in, and that's what makes it harder for a lot of people to forgive themselves as hell, especially forget it, because that's a lot of times the things that people do not forget are the things that seem to carve out an experience in their experience, and that sometimes is the trigger that makes anything that happens remotely close to that, it triggers them to go back to that experience. Like everything that happens is a result of that experience, and that's how the energy seems to be enacted when I look at it. I'm speaking to people. It's interesting because the experience is within their in all of our thought process, and the energy that we received at that time in that experience, where we were on that vibrational realm at the time we received it, is really what kind of carves out, especially the first time. It carves out our, like our really decision making process as a result of the feelings from those type of things. Like it's amazing that a lot of us are affected that way, but that's what it is. Being able to forget, being able to do all kind of things to forget, because I know it's possible. I've forgotten some real stuff, and I really don't think about it. And what's cool, I know that now somebody can bring it up, and I really be like, what? Oh, if I channel and think for a minute, and then I realize why I forgot it, and I just go and put it back in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not important for me, especially like, come on, man, remember this. Try to think, and then I think about even the environment. And I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I don't even. That's not even important to me anymore. And it's cool for any of us, especially as youth, to change your mind when you see something different. You start moving a certain way and you start feeling a different way because your homies or your girlfriends or whatever not seeing how you starting to see a different vibe. You're seeing responsible. You're being responsible for your actions. You're being responsible. You're seeing certain things that they're going through, and they're having to go through it and not being responsible for the actions, but they keep going through it. Same thing. It's the same result. You don't have to grow older to get this. What is for you now is what we're sharing. Like this is very, very important for all entities of energy to receive, especially us that are in a space of influence to another. And we all influencing each other. Like if you have a child, cousin, little brother, your mama, your auntie, anybody who can see you in a different light, in a positive light of letting things go when they do things to you. They did something, go forgive them. You know what I'm saying? Let it go, and I guarantee you forget it, because they're going to start doing things different. They're going to start treating you different. They're going to start responding to you different, and then the energy. It's like about we control the energy that comes into our experience. Factual. It's not a process of if we do or don't. It's we do. It's factual. How we receive, how we see things. We're going to get exactly that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not what we want. It's where we vibrationally align to. So what's an action that someone can take to begin the process of setting down let me redo this. What's an action that someone can take to begin the process of setting down this regret instead of carrying it day after day?
Well, there are simple things that you can do that are people talk about for letting go, like writing down whatever it is that happened
Mm-hmm.
and either burning the paper or tearing it up into tiny pieces, flushing it down the toilet, whatever. Just a matter of holding it in your hand, and then and when you let go, you let go. You don't let it go and then think, well, maybe I should have, because
Mm,
that's taking it back again, which
right.
is what a lot of people do.
Mm,
And one
yeah.
of the things that my guidance has taught me is a method of forgiving where you go into the heart of God and there's this beautiful pool of forgiveness water, and you put in there whatever it is that you're letting go of, and it simply dissolves and it's gone. And when that happens, it's gone from you and your life as well.
Mm. That's powerful, but you channel. How does someone get to that? Like, what's a quick action step? Because, I get it. I get it because I can do that now, but I couldn't tell you that in my 23rd year of this solar return process, or 24th year, when I was really like coming to terms with different things, that I would have been able to find no pool of water happiness and all of that. So how, because that's what I really have the strongest intention, will, and I command that I am forced to be in front of the younger vibration of energy. There's really older souls that really are tapping in, and get them to realize that it's no regrets to nothing. You just hold on, let it go, let it go. If you go through something, and then look at the examples you have. Look at the people who don't let go. Look at the elders who go through so much, them health issues and all that. They didn't let go. Something is tied up in something that causes all of the internal stuff to happen to, because everything is internal in the first place. So if you can't stir it up, you can't clean it out, then it's going to have some kind of contrast. It's going to have something to deal with, and that's one of the processes. When you let it go, like you said, those rituals are strong. Like, it's important to be able to. Some people don't. Some people are like, somebody told me don't be burnt. Not me, but I'm saying people sometimes feel like, and have been told, oh no, them rituals are like the act of the devil. Like, and these different things are. It has to be some line drawn to make you know people get it, or either some action taken with inside of oneself to make that you realize that you are the power to all rituals. You, whatever you believe it is about that experience, you'll get it. If you believe that you'll get healthy by going to run, go run and watch you get healthy, especially if you go run with the intention of getting healthy running. You'd be surprised, your numbers will come down, your levels will go up, everything will work out for you, everything will balance out. Same thing if you start to look at yourself like you're a beautiful person, and all the time you looked at yourself like you weren't, but you start getting in that mirror and recognize that you really are a beautiful person to the person it matters to, and watch how many people start recognizing your beauty, because you're reflecting out, you're projecting everything out. So to forget things is really the first action to forgive things, in the sense of my learning and my earning the the, the place of knowing that that's what it is. Because I had to earn that process. I had to, because like I said, me forgiving is honest from my heart, on my soul, on everything. When I do, I intentionally mean I forgive you. I forgive you because I truly have that intention. At the same time, I really have the intention to forget it, and I program that forget in there. And if it's somebody that's around me, they do something remotely close. It don't have to be like, it could be the same wording up to it. It could be the introduction to the idea of it, and then I remember it. And it, not like I won't stick to the forgiveness part, but just to forgiving, just to remembering, triggers something in the forgiveness that makes you have to go ahead and work that part again. Like, okay, well, I'm good. I'm good. But that's the part. If you forget, you don't even see the trace. You really don't see the traits, because we programming ourselves. And the youngsters, y'all can do that easy. Y'all, it's easy for you to ignore the fact that when an elder is telling you something that you want to hear, a lot of times, because a lot of these elders tell you stuff that's got something to do with their base on their religious backgrounds or something like that. But when you listen to the soul of a person who's already done all of that and has already experienced the fact of exactly what you're experiencing now, they felt like that when they were younger, then it will come we can come together because I'm willing to, and that's what my seeds know. They know we bring them to the table. Let's bring all these old souls that's in these young bodies that already relate to the consciousness, and like, what the hell are y'all doing with this stuff y'all got? We not moving like that because we got the clarity of the consciousness from the old perspective of old souls already having the truth, coming here in the younger with the younger force to change, and the ones of us that are warriors to lead them and give them the expression of, yeah, we support you. All of us don't look at the youngsters like they got problems. Everybody got, the issues that we have because we have to create balance. We have to constantly, we're going to do what we do. The universe is tilted as it is, and it's exactly how it's supposed to be. And we vibrating, so let's just keep that. Okay, so what would it mean for a person to see the truth of what they were meant to see in that experience, in the experience of like something that happens that they can't, forgive or forget?
It's important for people to recognize that sometimes they will not see the truth. And there are a variety of reasons why they will not see the truth. Sometimes they've already decided that they don't want to see the truth. And people do make decisions like that about their lives, that they think of something that happened that they consider a bad experience, and they don't ever want to look at that again. And so if they're trying to see the truth in it, they're not going to see the truth because they have decided that they do not want to see that truth.
Yeah.
And that makes it a big difference because there are things that happen in your life that are there, to show you something, to teach you a lesson, whatever you want to call it. But you don't get the lesson because you had decided before then that you didn't want to know what the lesson was. I mean, there were things that have happened in my life that it took years before I would finally say, okay, this happened. And I'm going to forgive it and I'm going to let it go. I didn't ask to see the truth of it. I didn't try to see the truth of it. I just decided it was time to let it go. And I would do that. And then later, after I let it go, something would show me an insight into what it was that I was learning from that. But it wasn't based on the fact that I was reanalyzing what had happened. It was because I let it go. And then I was actually open to receiving whatever it was that came to me.
I just felt something. I apologize. Go ahead, continue. But I have something I definitely have to add to that. Go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was actually a good point for you to say that. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Oh, okay. So no, I just when you were saying that, because of the truth and the lesson, because I'm just thinking about my own life, about, yeah, we know that some things are the truth when we hear them, but we're not trying to hear that. And there's no way you can get a lesson from something that you don't want to hear at the time. You know it's truth, but you're not living in that truth at this moment because we have our experiences that sometimes we don't get to live in that truth. We just get to see, specks of it because it's going to be it could be the catalyst of our win or loss, like in the sense of our balance and imbalance when we deny it so much. And I was just saying that you did, like, you eventually came to the point of just looking at the truth and the lesson, most of us, well, I'm gonna say most of us, a lot of us do, the ones that I can say that come to consciousness begin to accept the truth for a lesson. But when I was gathering this information, when I say that, gratitude is like one of the ways to receive in the intention, the command, and the will of your heart, like for real, not so much the desire, because that's a want of something, and you not necessarily gonna get that unless you can love, unless your heart is lined up to that. I just realized that that gratitude thing, just coming to the fact of being grateful, is a major opportunity in the expression of understanding what we are in creation, like our opportunity to create and to see, because it's an opportunity to see the lesson of the truth. Because you're right, people don't see it, but it's an opportunity to even make another choice to do whatever at that point. You know what I'm saying? When something comes to that point of where you cannot forget it or whatever, or when something comes up for as a situation that you have to forgive in that sense, because it's going to be all day lessons and truth you're going to have to come to if you don't come to the fact that that's what's happening. You're reliving it, you're repeating it, you're building a vibrational escrow for it to just be a repetitive thing. It's like a monthly payment. You're gonna have to pay what you owe. That's what it is, and you're gonna owe every month with those built up those thoughts. Because I've been there. That's a part of getting to understand that gratitude will get you to forgiveness, because you can take a chance to have that's an opportunity to really take your hours to look at the person. Do you love this person? Do you think this person really, do you have it in your heart to know this person means this from the heart? And sometimes you have to come to some real truths, because if you ask those questions and you feel that in your heart, you have to come to some real truths, and that's when you're really gonna have to forget and forgive. You know what I'm saying? And forget, because you're gonna have to you know come to the terms with, you thought you loved, you thought they loved you, but you see they don't. No matter how many ways you put it, you have to accept that it is what it is. It is what it is, and this is a part of that, forgetting it, allowing it to be, and accepting it, so that forgiveness can really show its hand for the love that's at the other side of being forgiven. Because somebody else gonna come love you way more if especially that part, like especially that's what you so intending in your experience. You know what I'm saying? If that's really a big intention for you, like you've put forth the effort for intention, not desire. Oh, I want so much to have. I want so no much. No, I intend. I'm going to do this. Like this is. I've claimed that I am. It's a big difference in those vibrations, though. That whole field of energy. That they don't work the same. From me, they don't work the same. And no one I've, you know, put through some tests of action when I'm here to influence, and I have to get down to the extent of who this person is. Yeah, it shows itself to be facts when you are in your space of knowing. So it is what it is. What's one strong act of self-forgiveness that would no longer allow someone's past to dictate their worth?
An important part of who you are and what you're experiencing is how you feel. People who love themselves find it very easy to forgive themselves. They find it very easy to let go, to forget, to move forward. People who do not love themselves tend to judge themselves, and they find themselves wanting or coming up short or not enough. And that is what creates that need to hang on, that need to have an understanding of the lesson, that need to do whatever is right because they feel that they are wrong. So, anytime that you are doing work on yourself, one of the most important things that you can do is love you, accept you, love and accept yourself exactly as you are, with every mistake that you've ever made, everything that you've ever done wrong. Love yourself. And then it's much easier to just let it go. Because we're the ones that tend to hang on to things, especially about ourselves. And so often we punish ourselves for things that we think that we've done wrong, or things that we think that God is one day going to punish us for. And God's not ever going to punish you for anything.
We're
And,
self-punishing.
no, you have the ability to punish yourself.
Right.
You have that free will. And that's what a lot of people do with that. But it's not because God has said, oh, well, you're not really worthy. I'm not going to really help you, because God never does that. God's love for you it's beyond words. It's amazing. It's powerful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful if you allow yourself to feel it. But a lot of people are afraid to feel it because they believe all of that religious dogma about you've got to prove that you're good enough for God to love you. And the reality is, God is always going to love you, and there is nothing that you ever need to prove.
Indeed. 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 So your worth is based upon your net value on yourself. Indeed. And you knowing yourself is, there is it's no value that can be placed upon something that has no limit to what it can be worth, especially inside of oneself. What would it look
Yeah,
like for someone to reclaim that decision they've made, not to erase or excuse it, but to own it fully and to allow it to be their receipt for how far they've come?
it brings you freedom. It brings you freedom to move forward in your own life. It brings you freedom to know that you deserve whatever it is that you desire. It brings you the freedom to stand in your power and to be who you are. No excuses. No, worrying about, well, what's this person going to think or what's that person going to think. No more people pleasing. No more letting others have control over you. It's about accepting yourself. What you do is what is in that moment for your highest good. Everything you've ever done, in that moment, you thought it was the best thing to do for you. And that's true no matter how horrible it turned out that thing was. But in the moment, you were doing what was best for you. And so to look back on your life and decide, well, I should have done this or I should have done that, you weren't actually capable of doing anything different because you were reacting based on who you were in that moment. And so
Wow.
if you're further on in your life looking back, well, yeah, you can see things then that you couldn't see when it happened because you've moved forward in your life. So don't beat yourself up over the choices that you've made because you really were making the best choice that you knew in that moment.
Yeah.
And when you accept that and you can forgive that, then you can go forward with your life.
Indeed. Indeed. That's that man up. That's what I'm on. That action taking. You man up for it. Accept it. And see, the thing is, like what I say all the time, which is now, a very, very big part of my experience, me knowing that this is what I exist for here, is take responsibility for yourself, your self responsibility as creation. Your responsibilities as a man, as a father, as a whatever you are, mother, for whatever you are, is automatic once you take responsibility for, and then you can see conscious parts of what part you play because it's bigger than you just being this husband shit, so this wife stuff, this father stuff with his brother, whatever, it will go away instantly once you come to terms with responsibility for you as creation. Because think, you taking responsibility for you as creation, you can have whatever thoughts you want with no judgment, and it'll make you make better decisions based upon you not having the feeling of judgment and thinking that decision is incorrect. Because if when I make decisions based upon me knowing now, I don't give a damn what nobody think, and it's like not in a negative way, because I make more positive decisions. I make more, a higher vibrational decisions as a result of that. It's not like, but I had to take responsibility for me as creation, because I respond to something and be like, man, that's a part of me that I don't know. Ain't no part of me that I don't like. That's a part of me that I know that's like that. That's me, and I know that at times that part's gonna come out if I'm dealing with that energy, unless I decide that I'm going to deal with that energy different. Some energy does not deserve a turn down. Some energy deserves a turn up, especially if it comes to you turn up. I think that energy has to be matched. I don't see how we can, especially when it come down to me, I'm projecting me out. So when I see an aggressive version of me, I check it in respectfully, because I know what it is. It's me. I'm gonna show it love in a high grade first. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what I would want. That's what I truly, intend for people, that if you see me a way that you think you can test me or try me, please respect the fact that I'm a version of you. And if you really about that, then know that that's the facts. And if you get in front of me, I know that already. So I'm not here for that part. I'm here for the raising of that energy, because I know that when you separate from me, you possess that energy, because we create masterminds as we go. They can be masterminds of, low vibration, or they could be masterminds of high vibration. Whatever they are, they're being created when we, do these interactions. So raising the vibration is a much better way to get to the point of the love aspect. Because when somebody has to go through something and they experience the fact of you having to show love or receive love, because you put yourself in a hell of a position where now people got to come really show you they love you because you somewhere laid up, because you tried something that you weren't supposed to try, did something that you weren't supposed to do. Now the people you looking up and you see, oh man, these people really love me. Like, okay, you can get into the fact of how you must feel, how you should feel by putting certain people through things, when you know that love thing is a balance. Yeah, it's not necessarily your responsibility how somebody's going to look at how you do stuff, but at the same time, you being balanced, making better decisions from a perspective of knowing that you responsible for it, it'll turn out more balanced. We sometimes don't. We got to go through that, and we're gonna go through that because it's the way things are set up. But to hold yourself hostage for it, nah, get over it. Get over it. Man up. Accept that, because that's what it's about. The only reason you're going through it because you put yourself through it. And if you really standing on business, then you standing on business receiving exactly what you put out. So the higher vibrational things that you receiving, the bigger the issue or whatever, know that you get the opportunity to see the truth and the lesson. You get the opportunity to be grateful and actually receive that, because you might see it and deny it. Might see it and be like, man, the hell with that. That's not the what they be saying. That's not the time I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such time, so you better get on something. And it should be present, because it's the present now that everything is going to react or act out on everything, because there's just no more excuses. The more consciousness is raised, the more excuses are not accepted by the universe. The universe gives no passes. It just lets vibrational alignment. It's like you give your escrow to build up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I realized. It gives no passes. You can do some dumb shit if you want to, and then might get away with it, you thought. But let it it's in vibrational escrow. It's like, okay, we know it. It's like fatherhood. You at some point, you let life discipline your children, and you be there to assist them in overstanding what that disciplinary moment was. Disciplinary, however you say it, that moment was like you, because we are effectively here to be in the state of assistance. Once we gather the fact that we do this, we receive these messages, we would get love from all perspectives of life, and you know now how to share it without cutting a person's head off and feeling some kind of way or doing something that automatically makes somebody feel some kind of way. It's tapping into that. So these are processes of clarity, but we get them at all times. That's why I appeal and challenge the youngsters to pay attention to what some of the elders are saying. Those of us who are, you tapped in, they know they tapped in. A lot of them come to you telling you information because they know you may not know. They think you may not know based upon you being older. Mine know. Mine know because what I share with them, and the people that know me, that know them, know I know enough to know it's not what they try to give me. And I'm born in '68, and I'm just like it didn't make sense then. It's no way in hell it's gonna make sense now, based upon me surviving through some things and having faith and getting past the faith thing into a knowing that things are the way that I see it, imagine it for real, the way I attach to it, and my intuition tells me everything about that. So we all got that power. So the last thing in terms of just sharing, I wanted to ask because in this time, in this so-called time, but the so-called time for me, it's the space that we're all holding that we have to share with one another to raise the vibration. What is a action of force or ritual that is, whether it's through an act or an activation, a word, whatever, that someone can do consistently to dissolve the chains of regret, like completely?
The beautiful thing about the forgiveness work is that you can do it, and you can do it over and over and over. And with some issues, you need to do it over and over and over because it could be something that you've been carrying forward for many lifetimes, or, as long as you've been alive in this lifetime. So, there's some people who believe that they can just say, I forgive, I forget, and it's done, and it's completely wiped out of their lives. But there are layers to us. And it's like when you're dealing with a baby, if they do something wrong, they're learning to walk and they fall down and they get up and they laugh. It's just, this is just life. Whereas if someone is in their 80s and they're walking along and they fall and they finally get up, then they're feeling bad about the fact that they fell and what does this mean and what are people going to think? And, there's a whole bunch of stuff that the 80-year-old has taken on throughout this life that the baby doesn't have. So when you're doing the forgiveness work, you're eliminating all of that crap that you've taken on all of those years. So you can't just say, I forgive, and have it just poof and everything is gone. Because if that actually happened, you wouldn't be able to function because that would be taking a lot of you out of you. So you have to take it step by step. And if that means that you have to forgive something, for 100 times before you've actually completely eliminated that issue, then that's just what you do. This forgiveness work that I do now is what they've taught me in the last 6 months. Before that, I was still doing forgiveness work, but it was different. And so over the years, they've shown me how to do things that are more and more effective. And when I do forgiveness work where I come from the heart of God, then God is a part of that forgiveness. And so it reaches back through my entire life, and I can wipe out issues much more quickly because of that. So know that you are doing what you what you see as best in the moment. And if you have to do it again, it's not really a big deal. It's just something that you're doing again. So if you want to make it a ritual that, every night before you go to sleep, you review the day and forgive whatever you want to forgive. I find it's much more effective if I notice that something is bothering me. Then I stop doing whatever I'm doing and look at it. And then I do the forgiveness work on it right then when it's present. And it's much more effective at eliminating the whole issue when I deal with it, when I feel it. But then there are some people who don't want to do that and they want to make a list all day. And at the end of the day, to each his own. But if you deal with what you need to deal with in the moment that you need to deal with it, you are actually going to be much more effective at eliminating, at actually taking that out of your life. So I'm not really sure if I answered your question or not.
Yeah, no, you did pretty much, because just forgiveness work, it will dissolve the chains that, of regret completely in sincerity, because it is what it is. Like you said, forgiveness work is a big deal. I like, as well as this, just knowing that's what we're adding to, that's what I'm interjecting into this whole experience right now, is the fact of forgiveness is the key to overstanding, one of the keys to overstanding the gratitude and getting to love. But forgetting and letting go is going to be that key element, in the sense of those things that are really, have really been effective in your experience. Uh, you know, I've had to come up with different. I've had to come up with different, whole different, chill out, man, whole different techniques in order to deal with certain things, that because I've used just guided techniques to the point of that don't work to me. My situation is different. For someone else's situation, it would be cool. It will work to the extent that it's supposed to work, because maybe they don't have but 3 or 4 forces of energy that they're dealing with. You got a double up, a triple up, a quad, a quad. You got a whole bunch of energies that flow in and out of your experience, but not in and out of your experience, but are in your experience 24/7. When you wake up, they're there. When you go to sleep, they're there. And I'm not talking about just 4 to 6 hours. It's a difference. You have to be willing to and accept the opportunity to recognize all of these different fields of expression, and pay attention to it, because they're all triggering or giving me some you know ability to find my gratitude, to find the reason. Now, everybody's got that. It's something to be grateful for in your experience. If it's just one thing that you've laughed at really, really hard, and you can remember that thing that they make you laugh about every time, harness that thing. Make that thing like Christmas for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make that thing like your biggest holiday. If you celebrate those holidays, whatever the biggest one is, make that experience so that you can build it up. If it's and then it really, really, because we are control over these minds, when you really get a portion of it, the universe loves speed. You start working on that part, the energy just gives you total control. The universe is like, wow. I mean, you become like connected to the awareness that the universe has to offer, because it's just a remembrance of you being tapped into this. That's what I'm having to experience in my all day, everyday experience. Like I explained to you on the call, we had that experience where I had been doing all these calls, and it's been very much in the quantum, about the astro, and about sharing love and gratitude, and just what we stand on. And back to back to back, I did 3 or 4 of them, and then went out. When I went out, first time I had been out in a few days, to take care of any business, I had that incident where I'm standing there, and I just feel someone touch me on my shoulder. And I look around, there was no one there, but I looked, and there was a gentleman there. He looked just like my mom, like the same size, same height, mom was small. You know what I'm saying? Looked just like her, same complexion, same everything, facial structure and everything, but he was a male. And I saw him and I was like, wow. And I thanked mom. I was like, thank you, mom. Thank you for making me aware that elders out here that, again, I see good energy and things of that nature. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I turned back around because, my God is finishing up the thing and, paying for the stuff. And instead, something touched me and, like pulled me around to look. And when I looked at that time, he grabbed his head. You know what I'm saying? And he was he looked and he was walking off a little bit. And he grabbed the back of his neck, and I saw the cashier saying, "Sir, your stuff is right there." And I saw somebody bag it for him because they asked him if he needed bags. Because that place you bag your own stuff, but somebody bagged it for him because they saw him moving a little slow. And so he was standing there. And when I looked that second time, when he grabbed his head, you know, I started some, at that point, something kicked into my energy, and I'm looking at him the whole time, and I'm seeing people kind of say, "Yeah, your stuff is there, sir." And it seemed like they were being a little rushy with him. And I looked around; there was no other people, no other melanated people around. There's just a bunch of others around, and he was by himself. He was old, so I was just went over there, and I was like, "Sir, he because he came on through when they said that, and he sat on the end of the thing. Then he really held his head, and he looked a little pale. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of identify with that with the elders since I'm a caregiver and I do that. I went over to him and I'm like, "Sir, you okay?" And I'm doing all kind of healing, intentions and affirmations that I've created for my mom, like, you know what I'm saying, because I know that assisted her, like, and I'm doing all kind of healing mantras. Even did a couple mudras before I went over there, and I'm putting my hands together for the purpose of building the energy, like I've done in a lot of Reiki sessions, just getting up, on a fly type situation. I approach him because I'm not attempting to force nothing on him. I say, "Hey, sir, you okay? Is it okay if I talk to you a minute?" And I put my hand on him and I said, "I'm just wanting to share some love." He was like, "Yeah, it's okay." And when I said that, I took responsibility for the fact that was the opportunity to say, "Okay, how you feeling?" And said, "Do you have anybody you can call?" And I asked him, "Are you feeling okay? Do you need us to call 911?" He was like, "No." No, I don't need anyone to call anyone. I don't have anyone I can call, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I just need to sit here. I mean, I said, "This happened to you before?" He's like, "No, it's never happened to me before. I just He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Okay, well, just sit here a minute." And I said, "You sure you don't want to go, call 911? Because they won't force you to go if you don't want to go. They just will check you out." He was like, "No, no." And right then, some off, there was probably just, how when the fire department is going to the store, like two firemen and a paramedic came in walking through the door coming in, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And when I looked, I was like, "Oh, because it just so happens to be some right there." He was like, when he saw them, he's like, "Nah, nah, I don't want." He tried to get up, he fell back, like, okay, he didn't have enough energy. I said, "Sir, just relax. I won't necessarily." And I say, and by that time, an employee came over there, and he was like, what's going on?" I was like, "He's having some kind of an issue." So I was gonna see if someone could call 911 or something. He's like, "Sir, do you need someone to call 911?" And he was like, "No, I don't want anybody to call 911." I said, "Well, it's a fire department right there." He's like, and I said, "Could you just get them?" He's like, "Not the employee." He was like, "Nah, nah, I can't bother them while they're not at work." I was like, "Not at work." I said, "Bro, they're human beings. That's what they do for a living." I mean, I'm just saying that to say how different humanity is, because any place that I have been around, the people that I've been around, 111, 111, I have just received like the idea of, you go help people, elders, children, anybody, they need some help, you go help them. That's what you do. But he was like, "No, no, I don't want to bother them." And I said, "Well, okay." He was saying, "No, don't." He was telling, he say, "See, he don't even want me to bother him." I said, "Okay, well, I can, sir, can I do anything for you?" He was like, "Well, if you can help me get to my car, I would appreciate that." And he got up and he started, moving a little bit, but you could tell he was dazed. And I was like, "You sure you're okay?" And I was talking to him while I was walking, came out, and he was like, I said, "What kind of vehicle?" He was a little dazed about that, but we found this vehicle at the end of the parking lot. And when he was out there, he was looking for his keys, but I said, "Do you have your keys?" He was like, "Yeah, I got my keys." And he started patting up here. So I was thinking maybe he carried his keys around his neck or something, but I didn't see anything. I say, "Do you have them in your pocket by chance?" Then he said, "Oh yeah, in my pockets." It's like he was still disoriented. You know what I'm saying? He was, I pushed his buggy and I held him beside it, so I can get him to the vehicle. My goddess walked right beside him on the other side. And the fire truck is sitting right in the front. And, so still, if we needed to call them. So we walk up to his vehicle and he finally gets inside and he opens the door And he gets inside and he turns the key on. I said, "Sir, could you just not leave just yet? Just kind of relax a minute because you seem still a little disoriented." I said, "Yeah, you seem a lot better when you walk down the parking lot, but just take a little time." And so happened when he turned the key on, this song came on, and I was mentioning that the song was called "I'll Keep Going On." I remember the name of the title of the song. That song, "I'll keep going on, I'll keep going on." That song right there, that song. And he was at the part that was loudest to me. He started singing. He was sitting there, elder, looking like my mama, man, looking like mama. I know how much my mama loved music, and I know how much she liked them songs. Like, and she was sitting there. He was sitting there tapping his legs, and he started singing. And when they got to the part where say, "I've had so many years," and he said, "I wasted all those years and wasted all those something." That part right there, he was singing along with it, and I was like, I had a vision right there. I started channeling an experience of a brother who seemed to maybe lost his wife. He by himself now. He waiting for his time to go, and he don't really want. He just waiting because it was like I could I just had it's like I had I'm still sitting here because I didn't want him to pull off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still sitting there like with my hand inside of his vehicle. He got the door open, so I got my arm on his, I got my hand on his arm, on his shoulder, and I'm just talking to him. And he, right when he was like, by the time he said, "Okay, I'm good, I'm good." The song went off and everything. I said, "Okay, sir, I can't keep you here. And I'm not trying to." But my wife, she done already went up there to get the fire department to go ahead and ask them just to come down and look at him. So by the time he did something, he sat back in the vehicle, and then he looked at me. He leaned up and he looked at me. This is how I know the angels exist, and my mama did this. You know what I'm saying? This is how I know it because he sat up and he looked at me, and he said, thank you for being here so much, you." And he sat back, and his eyes connected into me, and I felt it trimming through my spirit, like, "Mama, I know, I see. I'm not gonna flunk no tests out here, Mom. I'm not gonna flunk no test." That's because it's like you get the opportunities to do all these different things, and I don't go out that much, but when I go, I have a purpose to go. So when I was just so grateful, but still a little bit more with that. I actually went, let him, he was the dude came up, the fire department came up, and he was talking to him, but he realized that oh, let me get to this. When that song went off and he said that, another song came on because he was about to pull off, and he said, "Oh, I like that song." And I said, "So I said, would you please just listen to it in its entirety, just so I can know that He was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." And he put it in part, and he's sitting there and he was just listening to the song. By that time, my goddess had time to bring the guy over. But right when the song went off, he was like, "Okay, well, I'm about to go." He's like, "Thank you again." And his look just let me know something about to happen tremendous in our experience, because these are the things that give you signs to that. That's kind of like what I felt after that. And I'm not looking for anything. I just know to prepare myself based upon all of my chart, all of the things that I know my modalities have been leading to, and these are confirmations for me. But he was backing out. The fire department said, checked him out and said, "Okay, well, I can't keep him because he seems oriented, okay to go." He answered all the questions that I would have to ask, and I can see his pupils are straight now. I was like, "Okay, no problem." And I said, "Sir, have a wonderful day." And I still felt compassion in my heart. The empathy in my heart was like, still, I want to see him home. And I just put a very, very strong intention and confirmation that, oh, he's that angel showed up protected and is already gonna make it home, because the main experience was for this to take place. And I took that, and then I was okay with that. And I was right then, I got a text to go back to the mailbox office that I had just left, because I was waiting for a package. It was taking so long, it didn't get there. I had to leave, and I was on my way to go home. And then right after that is when that incident with him is when I got the text to go back to the place. So I was like, "Man, okay, so I still get to get the package while I'm over here." I'm looking at it like that. And I'm still having feelings about, I thought about it one more time in my little 5-7 minute ride to get there. Man, I will. He made it home. And right then, my goddess says, "Look, there he is, right there." He pulled in front of us, like we went a whole different way than he did. He had given me his address, and I put it in my phone just to see how far, because he was saying he can get home. It's not that far. And I was like, "What's your address if you don't mind me?" Because I was going to ask him if he wants me to drive and my wife could follow and I can just help him get home. But he was like, "No, I'm good. And thank you again for everything." And it's amazing because as soon as I thought that thought, my God, it's like, there he is right there. He's pulling in. He actually pulled right in front. I was sitting at the light and he pulled right in front of me. And my GPS said something, and I'm like, I didn't even have my GPS on. I did not have my GPS on. But when I started driving behind him, he was swerving a little bit, and I said, "Do you think I should follow him?" She said, "Follow your heart." I said, "Well, okay." And we were coming up to another light, and the light was red, and we were coming up to it, and then he turned, and my GPS said turn right. And his address was in my GPS, but he was only zero point 0.8 miles from home when he had to go 7.2 miles. And it was the confirmation that, oh no, just like I thought, that angel made it. He good. So I went on and got my package, and I promise you, I didn't get caught by no lights. The rest of the time I was out, it's like everything seemed to, some things shifted up. Some things shifted up for real, because I came on, I had to deal with it 1, 2, 3, 4 on my clock right now. Like it's so many just things just lining up. It doesn't even, it just is what it is. It's, and I can't do nothing but keep getting these confirmations, all these angel calls, and so the perspective in which I'm saying, yeah, let it go, let whatever go, because that's one of the things I had to let something go. I had to go through a dream process a couple of weeks ago that made me have to let a whole process of thought go so I can really step into, and then this experience after I had podcasts, and it's just all in alignment. You'll receive exactly what you're supposed to get if you pay attention. Just pay attention. Just be open to whatever it is. Be neutral to whatever. If you're a Christian, be neutral. If somebody that's a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist come tell you something that makes a whole lot of sense to you and you never thought of it that way, or if you did or didn't, it lines up to how you feel right now. Take what it is right now. Hey, you want to let go of that shit that didn't serve you properly, and if it's not serving you now, you might want to take a strong look at it and see if it's having any bearing on the process forward, because the progress is important right now, because the energy ain't going to shift in no way but the way we put it out. And that's real for all the expression I have to offer, and I yield. Sincerely, because it is what it is. But again, I so do appreciate you. I didn't have anything else to add, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to give us a closing, confirmation of things, which has already been based upon what you said, because it's really just like that. Just, letting it go, Forgiveness and forgetting is a process that goes right along with it, but you can be hyper mode if you let it go. And those techniques, I have them to offer. We both have things to offer. So, please like and share this video too, so that people that are in the perspective of vibration that could really use this assistance can get it. And we are authentically sharing, because we have, I know that I have such the intention to be the action of the love that's being expressed. You know what I'm saying? So in my action of being, that's what it is. So thank you again. And I'll let you allow us to be free.
And just remember that God is on your side. God is always on your side. And if things are just not working, it's usually because you are not on your side. So letting go is a wonderful way to bring that peace, that tranquility, that joy into your life. Because it's not about judging yourself or punishing yourself or proving that you deserve something. Those are things that come from people. When God looks at you, God sees the beautiful creation that He has made. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. So let yourself let go. And don't think that you can't let go until, people have all of these until things. Let go anyway. And if you need to have something more concrete to show that you're letting go, write it down, ball it up, throw it away. Open that hand, let it go. There are so many opportunities in your life for you to move more fully into your own divinity. Take advantage of that. That's what you did with that gentleman in the store. You were moving more into your own divinity. You were recognizing your connection with God, the creator, the source, whatever your belief system is. And you were allowing yourself to be guided. And that was allowing you to make a difference in that man's life, which in return was making a difference in your life.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
just remember, God is always on your side, always.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and all who come in contact with this presentation, this frequency, vibrational uplift of love and respect to all. Please receive the love that's within. Thank you so much. Peace, love, and prosperity. Thank you.
And to you too.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amina. Again. I know you in there somewhere. Yes. I'm going to go on to end the stream now. Thank you for posting, for sitting in with us again, and again.